I know hindsight is 2020, and it's easy to say this now. It's, easy to say something like this after the fact, but I think that in my respect for Jeff Garcia as a game-managing quarterback who almost never made mistakes, I guess we forgot that Tampa Bay really is just a slightly more efficient version of Tennessee, and I think Bill Simmons said that last week, and I was just, reading that and thinking like, no. But after a playoff game like that, you really do see that is what it is. They are who Bill Simmons thought they were, as that somebody might say. And Giants come out with their first playoff win of the Eli era, which is huge. I don't think I need to explain how big something like that is. Maybe saves Coughlin's job, saves Eli's status in New York, means a lot to them. To go into Raymond James Stadium against a team that had a month off, basically. And I actually still agree with the decision to rest starters once games became meaningless, but I don't agree with the Buccaneers publicly saying, we want to play the Giants, and pretty much all but flat out admitting, we're losing intentionally so we can get the Giants. That's almost what it felt like. You don't, I can give or take actually doing something like that, but to publicly say it is just asking for trouble. You're going to piss somebody off, and I think that's part of what happened. For the Bucs, offensively, they can't play when they get behind. If you can get a 10-point or 14-point lead on them, they're not going to come back. They don't have enough firepower or weapons to do that. So that's obviously what New York did. They sustained long drives. Eli played pretty well. I'll give him credit. He played a nice game. Did everything he needed to. They got a little bit of action from the running game. Offensively they did a lot of things right, namely in keeping long drives. And defensively, and for the Bucs defense, they did real well this year, but my theory is, and the best thing I could think of was, they got old. They got tired at the end of the season because most of them are old guys. You got Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber and Brian Kelly. You obviously do have some young guys like Barrett Ruud and that new rookie, that third overall rookie they have, whose name I forget, Adams maybe. I think something Adams. But for the most part, their superstars on defense, like Derek Brooks, are old, and they burned out at the end of the season, I think. So, I think that tells you what you need to know there. And offensively for them, just not enough weapons. Galloway bruised his shoulder, and if you take out Galloway, they have no field stretching ability whatsoever. And you got to start doing, a lot of 6-yard outs and short screen passes, and you're not going to put up enough points like that. So that's that. And they abandoned the running game, and that's on Gruden. I would put it on Gruden before anyone else. Garcia, who is a guy who won't throw interceptions very much, had several bad throws and a couple of picks, and well, that's what you're going to get when you lose the turnover battle in the postseason. And ultimately this offense does need more firepower somehow. They need to develop Mike Clayton. They need to get one more year out of Galloway. Try and get something out of either Alex Smith or Jeremy Stevens. But you could sense that when the Giants took the lead, 17-7, that the game was almost over. Because this Bucs team just can't score points when they have to pass. It just really does feel like that. Great job by the Giants. Their 1-2 punch at running back. Real nice job by them. They had 100 yards and 30 carries, punched it into the end zone once, and like I said, the Eli Manning played well. Garcia took a hell of a beating back there. Great job by the Giants defense. So there you go, and we got Giants Cowboys for the third time this year. I That's a tough one for me. I'm going to have to think about that one for sure. And finally, the Chargers-Titans. I got less to say about this game because I watched pretty much the whole thing, and, for the first half, it was just a lot of incompetence offensively. The fumble in the red zone, the screen passes on 3rd and 15, the interception in the end zone, the constant going deep to no avail, throwing at Cortland Finnegan. Just all around not what I expected to see from this game. I thought it was going to be a blowout, but San Diego won. So, good job, San Diego. They forced the big turnover when they needed it, and, even though LT was getting stuffed, they kept going to him over and over, and eventually it worked itself out. They, he got the big touchdown to seal up the game. He got off some longer carries to end the game, and most importantly was Phillip Rivers picking up the pace in the second half and playing well. And I attribute that first and foremost to Chambers and Jackson looking like a real pair of starting receivers, because these guys have yet to make huge impacts for the the Chargers, and it's led them to have to force the ball to Antonio Gates and feed it to Tomlinson and Turner. But they looked like some real good wide receivers out there today. And that's how the Chargers got their first playoff win in 12 years? Something like that. So, I think it's actually 13 years. So, good job by them. I felt they got great quarterback pressure all day, and that's exactly what they would need to do to, find a way to pull it out against Indy next week, which obviously I don't think they will, but defensively, I felt they played real well. They forced key turnovers. And as for the Titans, I really do feel the Titans were the ultimate happy-to-be-there team, as in, looking at how the situation was, they weren't going to win. It just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't their year, but they got there. They overcame a lot of crap to get there, and I think that deserves some credit. And, defensively, I have to say, they played well, great against LT. Cortland Finnegan had a hell of a game, but as good a player as Albert Haynesworth is, he's kind of a jackass, and I don't know if I would take him on my team as good a player as he is. So he's a free agent this offseason, and I don't know what's going to happen to him, but he's a bit of a headache, so that'll be interesting. And we got our divisional round. It's almost here, so I'll get to more on that a little later.